Good morning, everybody. Some of you know that I have really bad camera fear, and I'm trying to get over that. So the best way for me to do that is just practice and keep doing it until I get better. I wanted to get on here today and give you guys a quick little tour of my garden, explain what I have growing, what's going on. Some of you saw that I put up a greenhouse recently, so I want to go over the plan for that. So I'm going to turn around the camera, show you what's going on in my in-ground garden, the plans with that for the next year, and then I will take you over to the raised beds and the greenhouse. So let's get started. So right here, this first plant, this is all my cantaloupe. You can see right here it had some powdery mildew going on. It didn't spread too bad, so I'm not worried about it. And here I've got nice 4 cantaloupes growing right there. There's 3. And I wanted to show you guys this. So this, you can see it snapped off pretty easy, would have been a cantaloupe, but what happened was the flower didn't get pollinated enough. So as it started to grow, you can see this is where the flower was, it starts to turn yellow. And basically, since it didn't get enough pollen, didn't get enough of those nutrients, it's no good. They fall off really easy, and I just go ahead and I drop them back in there, try to get it down buried in there, and that will decompose and add more nutrients to the garden. So I've got 4 there. Gavin found this one the other day. There's another one. Oh, there's the other one hiding down in there. So we do have 6 pollinated cantaloupe now. Coming over this way, here in the middle, these guys with the little yellow flowers, these are my cucumbers. They go all the way up. They come down here through my milkweed, which we did have some monarch caterpillars on. I don't know where they went. One got pretty big and they disappeared, so hopefully nothing ate him. But if you come in here, I've got one little cucumber, and then that guy's actually ready to pick, so when the video's done I will harvest him. And then over here on this side with these big leaves and big flowers are the acorn squash. And I've got one there and one back there. And these guys all like some of the cooler weather, so these next week and a half, now that it's cooled off, they will be thriving. Right here next to the end of this squash plant is a yellow bell pepper. As you see, I do have one big pepper, but if you come up here and look, the plant itself is pretty small. There's a pesky weed I'm going to pull real quick. And there's not very many flowers. There's no other fruit. There's just that one. So basically what I need to do is pick the pepper. You can see it was starting to turn there on the bottom, which is fine. Peppers are good to eat at any stage. Basically this is just a green pepper now, so we can slice them and dice them. But by picking that flower or that fruit, I have stimulated this plant now to set off more flowers. So that little bud right there will probably produce, we'll come up here, these little buds right here will produce, and we'll start seeing some offshoots and some more fruit. This right here is my big Walmart jalapeno. Some of you saw that I got him for $4. We harvested somewhere between 10 and 15 jalapenos off him the other day, and you can see that he is just loaded again with some nice sized peppers. There's a bunch up there, but you can also see, like I was telling you, we harvested, so now it's stimulated growth of the new ones. So we have a bunch of little guys growing as well. So Rudy ate one that we picked the other day, and he said it had quite the kick. Turning around over here, this little guy, he's got some tomatoes on him. This is, I'm showing you all the tomatoes, my orange tomato plant. I think it's pronounced like a Dr. Witch or a Dr. Wick. It's spelled Dr. space W-I-C-H-E. A fellow garden vlogger calls it a Dr. Witchy, so that's just automatically what I call it. But it puts on big orange tomatoes, and they're really pretty. They can get stripes down them sometimes. this big guy right here with the flowers. See him peeking in there. This is my beefsteak. You can see actually right here, I had to cut a big tomato off him Tuesday before we got those storms and the rain. I didn't want him to split or fall off. That tomato weighed 1.5 pounds, and it's actually sitting inside my windowsill right now, ripening, because it had turned orange, but not quite red yet. So he's inside finishing up, getting ready. This tomato plant is what I'm calling a rogue cherry tomato. I did not plant any cherry tomatoes this year, but what had happened was when I ripped out the garden last year, I threw all my cherry tomatoes on the fire pit, and then we burned them, and apparently some of the seeds survived, because I now have 1 cherry tomato, 2 cherry tomato, 3 cherry tomato, 4, 5, 6, 7 cherry tomatoes, and they're all setting fruit. So we're gonna have an abundance of cherry tomatoes. Right in here though, this little guy, he's got 1 tomato on him right now and some flowers up top. This one and the one next to him who's got a bunch of fruit, these two are either going to be both red tomatoes or one of them is a purple tomato. The tomatoes that I started from seed were this plant with the 1, and then the orange over there in the corner. The beefsteak I had to buy from Walmart. He was originally a plant that I had started from seed. The goal was to have an orange tomato, a purple tomato, and 2 red tomatoes. Early in the spring, however, Simon got into the garden and he ate one of my tomato plants. For those of you who don't know, tomatoes are nightshades. So the leaves and stems are actually poisonous to animals, and you can get really sick and some can die. Thankfully, it was still a small plant, so Simon, he lost his appetite for like a day or 2, did some vomiting, but overall he was fine. The problem is, I don't label my plants. I just like to be surprised by what grows, what produces. This way I'm not disappointed when something doesn't grow or doesn't produce. I don't know what he ate. I have a strong suspicion that he ate the purple tomato, which is disappointing because that was going to be really cool. If he did, it's fine. I still have seeds. I'll try again next year. No big deal. It is what it is. So hopefully in the next week or 2, these 2 will turn and we'll find out if they're red or purple. Turning around over here, next to the jalapeno is the sweet heat. So you guys saw me take the green bell pepper off that plant because it only hits that 1 fruit. Well, this sweet heat had set 1 pepper, and that was it. It had no more flowers on it. It actually broke. You can kind of see the damage down in there, and we thought that was it. It was done. Rudy got really upset because he said it tasted like a bell pepper with a kick at the end, and it was one of his favorite peppers, so we did save seeds from it just in case so I could grow it again next year. But miraculously, it is doing so good. It has so many flowers on it. I got 1 little pepper growing right there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's buds all over. So I think he's gonna pull through, and I think he's gonna be fine. Right next to it, this is the purple bell pepper. It has not set any fruit yet. It had just started to bud and blossom. So this will be interesting. I really hope we get some purple peppers because I'm used to growing, you know, the normal stuff. I don't grow fun things. So this is going to be a fun thing for me. Next to the purple bell pepper is called a thunderbolt. Much like the sweet heat and the bell pepper, we have 1 pepper. This little guy's trying, but I don't think he's gonna make it. And then there's absolutely no buds. So thankfully we have enough growing season that even though it's green and not red, I can go ahead and pick this. It will have heat, just not as much heat. I'm gonna leave him right there so I know where he's at. But now this will stimulate the plant to get bigger. You can see right there, if I can get my camera to focus, there. That will set off a new stem and we'll get some new buds. So hopefully that will survive and do well now. Behind all this mess is a clump of poblanos. Unfortunately, they got planted a little too close, so I don't know how well they're going to do. I do have some baby buds on this one and this one over here. So that's just kind of a waiting game, see what happens. If it takes off, great. If not, it is what it is. Okay, so my camera quit working. I think I got the thing about the poblanos. We'll find out. Hopefully this continues. I'm gonna switch you around, show you the yeah, I don't know, show you the rest of the garden. That kind of threw me for a loop and now I'm all flustered. I'm gonna head over to the raised beds, show you what's going on, tell you the game plan. Ow, tree branch. Game plan for my strawberries. So this is my strawberry bed. Last year, you can kind of see this is a big raised bed. Last year, this was just 4 puny little strawberry plants. It has taken off. There are a lot of runners in here. These things are called runners. So what they do is this little node right here will hit the soil. It'll set off roots and new plants. It is just completely full. We got a ton of berries from it at the beginning of the year. And then if you look down in here, it's setting fruit again. So my plan, and my one random sunflower, my plan for this is early next spring, I am going to split this bed in half, basically as soon as it shows sign of life. And I'm going to move it over here in this bed. This bed, I had some radishes and carrots going early in the year. I let one radish go to seed. That's what this is right here. You can see I harvested the pods off there. And right here are some more flowers and pods. But basically this is just my mint house. This is the mint that my brother and his girlfriend got me last year. It was a quarter of the size and it has grown to this. So I'm going to cut this back really good this fall, and then in the spring he will get a pot because mint is very invasive, and they also send out, I guess you could call them tubers, but, oh, there's a caterpillar on me. Come here, little buddy. Sorry, distraction. But they send out runners, and you can kind of see, I was pulling weeds. Like this is a runner. So this will keep growing. Anytime this hits the ground, it will start putting out new roots, and it just keeps going. See, there's another one. So this will get cut back and rehomed, maybe even split. So watch for post come spring that I'm getting rid of mint. But half the strawberries will go from this bed to this bed. Hopefully they'll be happy for a year or two, and then I'll have to figure something else out. Over this bed right here, I did 2 snap pea plants early in the year. You can see they are starting to dry out. There's some powdery mildew going on. So that's fine though. I got some big pods going on in here. There's a couple over here that are starting to dry out. That's what I want this plant to do. It's at the end of its life. The bottom of its stems down here are nice and dried out. I'm just waiting for these pods to dry out a little bit more, and then this whole clump is actually going to get pulled out, and the pods are going to get split, and the seeds inside are going to be dried and used for next year. Gavin and I actually came out a couple weeks ago, and we planted 6 pea seeds, and you can see they're starting to get big. All 6 have sprouted. There's this little guy, and so this will give us a nice fall harvest. Peas don't like extreme heat, so I'm not surprised that the other 2 died. These guys will do great this fall, give us a good harvest. They will get this row, this, and they'll actually go out on to the fence. Last year this bed had cucumbers, tomatoes, and I think 1 pea in it. And apparently I missed a cucumber because this sprang up and surprised me. And as you can see, it's doing fairly well. So when these guys get pulled out, I'm going to train him. You can see it puts out tendrils, those long green things to help it grab onto things and be secured. I'm going to train him to go up this tomato cage, and he can go down the fence, and that'll be his little home, and we'll have fall cucumbers. Now, on to the newest project. So I got a greenhouse. It's big. I'm very happy. Right now, there's nothing on the shelves. However, down here, I do have a box. I put some radish seeds in it. I'm waiting. I ordered some radish and carrot seeds from Baker Creek. They are a company in St. Louis, so they should be here tomorrow or Monday, I think shipping said. But my goal for the greenhouse is one side will be carrots and radishes. I'm going to try doing it all winter long, different, kind of like succession growing, but not quite. Essentially, I'm just going to plant seeds at different times, so that way there's always a harvest coming out of here. And then on the opposite sides from the radishes, so radish and carrot side, over here where my mailbox is right now that has my garden tools, this will be getting moved, and I'm going to get another box for down here, and I'm going to try and grow 2 snap pea plants in here during the winter and see what happens. With the door closed, it gets super hot, but my goal is that they will grow up these shelves and then kind of get to the top and branch out. So that's where I'm at right now. If it works, that'd be really cool. That's just something I'm trying. If it doesn't work, you live and you learn, right? I think the radishes and carrots will be okay because they are a root vegetable and the soils typically inside a greenhouse stays warmer. The peas, I don't know, but whatever. February, I'll come out and use some of the ground space and maybe even take out some of the radishes and carrots, and I will start seeds out here this year because I think that'll be cool. Typically I have done it in my basement, and my basement is pretty cold, and 2 things that seeds need to start are warm soil and water. They don't actually need light until they start to sprout. That is when they need the light to grow. So if I can keep it warm enough, I'm going to try and start seeds out here and see if they do better than what they do in my basement, because my basement stays about 60 degrees. So if it's warmer than out here, then why not give it a shot? We'll learn together. If you guys have any questions, comments, things I should know, definitely let me know. If there's anything else you want to see or hear about, just let me know. And thanks for hanging out with me this morning. Hope you guys have a great day.